All right, moving on to our next thing. Transformations of quadratics and exponents. Now, for Algebra 2, this is Algebra 2 no trig, or regular Algebra 2. This is something that you should be familiar with from Algebra 1. Okay, now, here's your transformation rules. All right, in our quadratic, we have this is in vertex form right here. Okay, now, A, if it's negative, it's flipped or rotated about the x-axis. Okay, and it's stretched if A is greater than 1. Now, there's another rule. If A is between 0 and 1, it's compressed. We're not really focusing on that right now. We're just focusing on this part. All right, this is the one that always gets everybody. It's the H. This is as written in equation, okay? Because if you look right here, that is a minus H right there, okay? Now, K is a little bit easier, just up or down. H, if it's negative, goes right. I know that's the one that always gets everybody. And our vertex is going to be HK. Now, oh my gosh. So here's another thing right here. If you're trying to find your points, and again, I'm not really worried about graphing right now. At this point in time, you should know how to graph. I'm hoping. If not, we'll talk about it. I only like to do about 5 points. Okay. H and K goes here. The numbers to the left, numbers to the right. And then you have, these go up by 1A and 3A. Now, that was something that a lot of people had a hard time doing the first time around in Algebra 1, but we're going to look at some problems and go through it, and hopefully we'll do a little bit better. And my big old face is in the way. All right, so this is something that I like to do first. I like to find my A, I like to find my H, and I like to find my K. And yes, I do like to do this. Now, I know on our little chart right here, we've got extra. We're just going to kind of cross these out. That's just too much. All right. So my A right here is 1 because there's not a number. Now, my value for H is 2. And it's going to go right here. But if we look at it, as it's written, it's negative. So this is going to go to the right 2. Arrows are fine, words, whatever. Okay. And then our K is going to be 3, which goes here. All right. And this means it goes up 3. And then we have a vertex of 2, 3. All right. Not all that bad. Now, if we were to find our other numbers, well, this kind of goes like this, 3, 4. Now, this one right here, this is by 1A. All right. So right here, A is 1. So 1 times 1 is 1. So what's 3 plus 1? 4. Okay. And this one right here, this is by 3A. So 3 times 1, 3. Okay. So we just got to add this point, 3, to these points right here. Well, 3 times 4 is 7, and 7. That's it. Ta-da! Oh my gosh. You know what? Because this is going to happen over. Woo, there I go. Boy, I'm just so quick. All right. Again, we're going to mark these out. All right. So for my A, I'm going to write myself on here. Nope, I'm not going to write right there because it's going to look weird. All right. So my A is going to be -1. So I already know this is flipped or rotated about the x-axis. I like saying flipped because more people understand flipped. It opens down. All right. Some other people are like, no, you can't say that. I don't care. All right. Now, my H, the value for H is, we're going to look at this in a second. So it's written as +1. So remember, if it's plus, it actually goes to the left 1. The H value is -1. So that kind of goes right here. Again, that's the one that people have the hardest time with, and that's totally fine. I'll go for that. And then our K, it's going to be 3. So this is up 3. So our vertex is this right here. All right. And so this would be 0 and 1. And this would be -2 and -3. All right. So with this being 1a, well, that's -1. Because 1 times -1 is -1. No. All right. So what's 3 minus 1? 2. Okay. Now, this is 3a. So this is kind of -3 because -1 times 3, -3. All right. So what is 2 minus 3? -1. There you go. Pretty simple. All right. Now, this one, again, we don't need you. All right. A is going to be 2. So this has a stretch of 2. It's basically like taking a rubber band and, okay. Our H value, there's no parentheses. That means H is 0. So there is no left or right on that. And we know that our vertex goes like that. And then our K is just -4. So we have a down 4. And there we go. Doop, 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 -1, -2, 1, and 2. All right. So if this goes by 1a, 1 times 2 is 2. All right. So what is -4 plus 2? -2. All right. This one, that's going to be 3 times 2, which is 6. So we have to add 6 to -2 to get these next two y values. Well, this is going to be 4 and 4. Ta-da! I know I'll make it seem simple. Now, this one's got all kinds of business going on. All right. A is -2. So we know that this is flipped or rotated. And it's also stretched. So it's upside down like a frowny face and really skinny frowny face. All right. Now, my H value is right here, and it's written as this. So we know this is going to be like a right 3. So 3 there. So my H value is actually +3. My K value is 6. So this means up 6. All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. So my A value, well, this is 1 times -2, which equals -2. So 6 plus -2, or 6 minus 2, is going to give us 4. All right. This one, this is 3 times -2, gives us -6. All right. So 4 plus -6, or 4 minus 6, is the same thing. It's going to give us -2. Ta-da! All right. Now, exponentials. All right. Exponentials are kind of weird little dudes. We're probably going to come back and revisit these when we look at some log stuff later, but we're going to just kind of dive into a little bit of the basics. Now, there is no A for this one because on the ones that we're looking at, there is no A, okay? There is an A later, but we're not getting into that. So we're still going to have our H, still going to have our K. All right. Here's the big thing right here. Your H value is the only thing that goes into our X values. All right. Now, we don't use K right here. There is no vertex on this graph because the graph looks like that, and there is no vertex, okay? So now, what we do actually right here is we take the value of K and apply it right here. That doesn't make sense, but I'll show you. All right. So if we look at this, H is 0. There's our H right there in the middle. And our K is -4. So this is basically, we're going to go down 4. All right, now, to find this on my calculator, I'm basically going to take these numbers here and just subtract 4. So 0.25 minus 4 gives me negative 3.75. Okay. Then I'm going to say negative 4, oops, sorry, 0.5 minus 4, negative 3.5. Okay. Then 1, well, this should be 3. Okay. So 2 minus, wait, negative 3, sorry. This should be negative 2, and then this should be 0. All I did is basically I took those values and I subtracted 4 from all of them. And that's how I got it right here. Kind of a very like little simplistic way to think about it, but look, I don't like doing things very complicated. I'm a very simple person. Okay. All right. So right here, do we have an H? Yes. H value is 3, so we're going to write it in the middle. All right. Now it's written as a minus, so we know this is going to be shifted to the right. All right. Oh, there's not 2 3s on the number line. Okay. Now, what is my K value? Well, my K is 0. So if I add 0 to all this, I'm going to end up getting the same thing. 1, 2, 4. Okay, so it's very similar to what we had on our notes. Just notice that these values right here are shifted 3 to the right. Hence the transformation. Like a transformer. Love transformers. The toys, the cartoon, everything. All right. Now this right here is written as plus 2. So we know it's going to go left 2. All right. And it's a negative 2, so it goes right here. And then our K is, so it's going to go down 8. All right, so that's negative 1, this is 0, negative 3, negative 4. So that means for all of these, I'm going to subtract 8 from all of them. Can't write for some reason. All right, and I'm going to work backwards because it seems easier. Nah. Okay, this is negative 7.5. This is negative 7.75. And all I did was just take these values, subtract 8. All right. So this is minus 1. That's the way it's written. So we know we're going to go right 1. Our H is 1, so it goes right here. Then our K is 3. So we know we're going to go up 3. So we're going to have to add 3 to all these. Zero, negative 1, 2, 3. All right. So now this is like 3.25, 3.5, 4, 5, 7. Okay. If you followed along this way, this makes a whole lot of sense. I figured this out last year. So if you didn't have this if you had me for Algebra 1, I'm sorry, but this just makes so much more sense. Okay, now this only works when there's a base of 2 here. Notice that our base is always 2. So we're just, trying to keep it simple. And that's basically it. Kind of short and sweet. Stuff you should know. It's kind of a good thing to get into, but just doing some transformations, like transformers. Okay, because where more than meets the eye. Roll Tide.